Welcome to Macrocode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with our Blazor series. So as you can see, we actually created an hostel within our application where you provided the hostel name. So then you provide the address, the description. So say combine hostels. Then you select the hostel type, whether it's girls, boys, or combined. So that is how we did on our previous video. So we were able to create a hostel. So in our application, you'll find we have students management where you can add students. You can even attach a photo. Then we have parents. You can add parents. Then you can also add teachers. You can have subjects. You can actually add a subject. Then you can have departments. And we can have a library where you can add books, indicate the number of copies. So you can issue books, return books. Then we have now the hostels that we added. So then we have the grades, countries. So you see, you are able to capture that. Then system codes and we have the system code details. So on today's video, I want us to, when we created hostels, we should actually also create rooms within these hostels. So on our previous video, when we come to our models, we created the models for hostel. So you can see here where we are capturing the hostel name, the hostel type, and our hostel type is coming from the system code details. Then we have now the hostel rooms where we are indicating the room name, the hostel ID, we are tying our rooms to hostels. Then we are indicating the type of the room, the number of beds, and the cost per bed, and even the description. So then we actually added our migrations. So this is already a table within our application. You see, we added this as a table. So what was pending was to actually have an interface where we can create the hostel rooms. So what we created is the hostels. You see we have it here. So I'm going to create another folder where we can have our hostels rooms. So I'll just stop my application. Then here I'll just say rooms. So I'll do hostel rooms. Then within the hostel rooms, I'll now create a list of rooms. So I'll create a new Razor component. Then I'll say hostel rooms. So hostel rooms list. Then if I press enter, I'll be able to have my Razor component. So I'm going to copy the hostel list details, then just duplicate here. Then you're going to change. So we'll say this is hostels rooms. Then you can say add new hostel room. So we'll be adding rooms, and then you can say hostels rooms list. Then this is where we are saying loading hostels rooms. Then down here, we are now dealing with hostel room model. Then this is all hostels rooms. So this is our collection. Then we will get the list of hostels rooms. So you'll be using hostel rooms. Then this is the rooms that we need to add. So this general service will give us the list of rooms. Then we can actually add them here. So we look through the list of hostels here. So you check if it exists. If not, then you can do that. Then I can now do, so you can say room name, room number. Then you can say room name. Do you have, you can say number of beds. You can have cost per bed. And you can have a description. So here I'll just do description. Then at the top here, you'll see we have a room. So you'll say room number. So I'll remove this. Then you can say number of beds. So I'll say number of beds. So I'll say number of beds. I'll remove these. Then we have the cost per bed. then remove that. Then I can do description. So I'll say description. So this will give us the list of our hostel rooms. So then here we'll say if there is nothing, so you can say there is no hostel rooms list available. So then if we do that, I'm going now to have my hostels rooms list on my navigation menu. So I'll just go to my navigation menu, and within our hostels category, I'm going to add here hostels rooms. I'll just copy this. Then I'll say hostels rooms list. So if we launch our app, we should be able to access now that list, and we should see our hostels rooms list. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So this is a series of Blazor that we are doing. And if you're following, you can actually subscribe and comment down below in case you have any suggestion that you'll want us to do. So there we go. So I'm going to log in. So I'll just do that. So if I click login, I should be able to log into my app. And if I come to hostels, I have my hostels rooms, and you can see loading, then there is no hostels rooms list available. So if I come to our folder now, I'm going to add a section. So I'm going to add another as a component. So I'll say add hostel room. So I'm going to add a razor component that will now help us to add the hostel room. So I'm going to copy the list, the data from add hostels, then I'm pasting it on our add hostels rooms. Then you're going to change. So I'm going to say this is add hostel room. Then here we will say add new hostel room. So we are adding a new room. So what are the details? So here we'll say room number. So here is room number. But before even proceeding with that, let's change our object. So our object name should be hostel room. So then this is our hostel room object. So if I do that, I'll now come here and say this is hostel room, then this is number. So that is hostel room number. We change this. So let me minimize this so that you're able to see. Then here I'll say number. So that is the hostel room number. So that is our first field. Then we can do cost per bed. So we want to track the cost per bed. So we have room. So you can say here cost per bed. Then this is also cost per bed. So I'm going to have here cost per bed. This is also cost per bed. Then I can also do, what other thing are we capturing? So I'll just paste this. So copy that here. Then you can do description. So you can say room, sorry. So I'll say room description. Room description. So there we go. So that is it. Then if we've captured the room description, so we've captured the room number. So we need to capture the hostel where that room belongs. So let's go back to our add room. So you can say hostel name. So we need to capture the hostel. So here we'll say hostel ID. So we need to have our object here. So I'll say hostel ID. Then here I'll also say hostel ID. Then this is select, we can say select hostel. So I'll show you how we'll need to map this list of hostels. Then if we've captured the hostel, then we need to capture the room type. So I want us to duplicate this section here. So we are going to duplicate that drop-down list. Then we'll say here a room type. So you can actually have these as room type. then so our hostel type, hostel name to be the last item to be selected. So here I'll change this to room type ID. Then I'll have these as room type, and this is a room type. Then this will have hostel ID here, hostel ID, then this is hostel ID. So this is room type. Then we have down here we have the hostel name. After hostel name, then we need to capture the number of beds. So I can have it at the top here, the number of bed. So I'll just do number of bed, number of beds. Then I'll say here number of beds. So this will give us the number of beds in the room. Then after we have that, what other thing are we missing? So we have the cost per bed, description, number of bed, room type. I think we are good to go. So I'll just come back here. We have the hostel. Then we'll say save hostel. We'll save room details. So after doing that, for us, we need one thing. So one is we need to display the hostels categories. So I'll say hostel categories, and this list is coming from hostels. So we are displaying the hostels data that we just entered. Remember, for you to capture the rooms, you have to register the hostels. So the next thing that we need to display is the room type. So that is coming from the system codes. So this is, I'll say room types. So I'll say room types. So hostel categories, we need to loop it here. And in our hostel category, we have the ID and we have the hostel name. So the name is what we'll display, but we want the ID to be saved to our database. Then for the room types also, we need to loop through the room types. So so this is select room. So I'll say select room type. Then here we are going to loop through the room types. Then we can say room type. Then here I'll just do that. Then this is so I'll do here room type ID and room type description. So that's okay. So the next thing that we can do after we have our hostel types here, so we need to get, so on initialized, we need to loop through and get the list of, so here we'll say room types. So here I'll just do room types, and these room types should actually, the value should be appended to our room types. Then we also need to load the hostels. So I'll hold the lost hostels here. I'll take this, come here, and here we don't use this. So here I'm going to just say generic service dot get all. Then I'll just pass my hostel model. Then do that. Then I want everything. So this will give me all the hostels. So since we have all the hostels, we now need to save the data. So after you've selected everything, you've keyed in the room number, keyed in the cost per bed, the number of beds, room description, room type, hostel name, and you are ready to go. So we should save this data. So to save it, I'm going to say the method here is create hostel rooms. Room, I can do that, create hostel room. Then I'm going to have it here. So this will be my method here. Then after that, our object to be used is this one. This is the model. Then here we can say add hostel room is our form name. Then after doing that, what we need to do is when we have our create room, we should now take our object, which is hostel room object. Then we do that. We assign the created on and the created by, and we now general service add a sync. Then we save hostel room. So after doing that, then we navigate back to the hostels list. So our route for the hostels list, hostels rooms list, is the hostels rooms list. So that is what should be here. So we should navigate to hostels rooms list. So I think that should be okay. So if we just now go back to our application under the list, when we are on the list and we need to click add new room here, we need to tell our app that when you click it, you should take us to add hostel room. So if I just launch our app, we should be able now to create a room and view all the details. So I think there is an error. So let's just check what is the issue. So there we go. This is the issue. The object that we should pass here, it should be hostel a room object. So let's launch again and see if there is anything. We have there cannot convert. Yes. So let's check on our form. So here we do text. Here text description. The number of beds we can actually do input number. Then the cost you can also do that. Then that's fine. Let's see. So it's saying the hostel does not contain created on and created by. Yeah, I think we don't have it on our hostel. So we'll do away with this. Then I'll just launch. But we'll be able to modify to ensure every data that we capture should have the person who registered and the person who modified. So our app is now ready and launching. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, like our video, comment down below. So we notice some of you guys are watching our videos and you don't subscribe. So please support us so that you help us to reach more people. So, and you also motivate us to do more of these videos. So I'm going to log into my app. Then I'll just do here, pass my password. And if I click login, I'm going to my hostels. There we go. So if I go to hostels, then hostels list, I should be able to see all my hostels. Under rooms, I should be able to see nothing here. So if I add new, it should give me now these options for add new hostel room. So if I just say room 1, then I say this is 6,000. The number of beds is 4. I say good condition. Then I say the room type. We don't have the room types. Why? We need to specify the room types under the settings, system codes. So I'll create another code called room types. Then this is then we'll create the options of room types. So what are the different options for room type? So we need to know the kind of options that we want to, when we are adding rooms, we need to specify. So I just create that. So if then I come to system code details, so this is the system code details. So if I click new, then I say my is 1 bed, then I'll select your room type. So then so the code here is 1 bed, can do now 1 bed. So that is my room type. Then if I click, I can say 2 bed. So this is my code. So the room with 2 beds, then I do that, then save. So then if now I come to hostels, then hostels rooms are new. I should be able to see those options here, 1 bed and 2 bed. So if I just do room 1, cost per bed, I can do 6,000. Number of beds, I can say 4, and say here good condition. Then I'll do 1 bed, then select the hostels. So you see the hostels that we keyed in are actually pre-populating here. So I'll say this boys hostel, then I say save room. So if I save room, you see it is now a room 1. Number of beds is 4. Cost per bed is 6,000 and the description is in good condition. So I'll add another one. I'll say this is room 2. Cost is 7,000. Number of beds is 5. Is in good. Then I'll just say this is 2 bed and it is actually in the combined hostels. So I'll add room 3, then cost per bed. Then I'll just do here number of beds, room type. Here I'll do good. Then I can say it is in girls hostels. So you see, I'm actually able to add my rooms within the hostels. So that is it for our today's video. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, like our video, and we'll still be continuing with enhancing this application until we have a very good complete system. So on our next video, we'll be populating the list of users and the roles within this application. So see you in our next video. Bye.